Good morning, everyone. We're having an exciting morning here at IE without any Wi-Fi for a little while. So I've been dashing around looking for ways to hardwire, but the Wi-Fi is back on. So fingers crossed that everything will go forward. We're a minute out now from official start time. The chancellor is going to join us this morning, but is coming from another meeting. And so we will try to hang on until he gets here to do the introductions, because I think it'd be wonderful for him to know who's with us today. So thank you all for joining us, and please sit tight. We'll get started in just a couple minutes. All right, one thing we can do early on is talk about the minutes from the last meeting. Steve sent those out. I hope folks have had a chance to take a look at them, see if anybody has anything that they'd like to offer to the group right now, or you can certainly come with corrections later. Julie, I see your hand.
Yeah, just two tiny corrections. One, on page 2, where it says American Health Association, I think that should be American Public Health Association. And then a little bit further down, it just changed AHA to APHA. Other than that, it looks great.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. Do we have any other offerings on the minutes? Be great if someone would like to move to accept them.
I move to accept the meetings with those two corrections.
Perfect. Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second them.
Thank you, Jeff. Nice to see you. All right, great. So we have accepted last time's minutes, and we'll make the corrections that Julie offered.
Thanks.
So what we're going to do is get started with the second item on the agenda. Well, actually the third. So we're going to hang on and do introductions once the chancellor gets here, and then he will provide his remarks. But for now, we'll keep moving, and I'll just give you a really quick update on the sustainability football game. So this is something that came to us with a relatively short timeline, was really exciting. It was an opportunity to have this coming Saturday's game against Syracuse be the champion sustainability game. It's in partnership with our great corporate partners, Hanes Brands, who hold Champion as one of their brands and who funded the Green Revolving Fund. So in partnership with that group, we will be having a bunch of events going on Saturday. Please come join us in Tar Heel Town. I think we'll be on the end of the quad near Wilson Library, starting at 12:30 before the 3:30 game time, with other groups representing sustainability interests across campus. We invited a bunch of people, and a handful were able to come, which is great. We're looking forward to that. We'll have Green and Keenan buttons, which are awesome. And there'll be a handful of t-shirts at the pregame event. And then during the game itself, there'll be 2,000 shirts in the student section. That'll be this Green and Keenan theme that you may have seen already on social media. but otherwise you'll be seeing it soon because we'll be doing a big push to publicize. There'll be video reads during the game celebrating the accomplishments and talking about the opportunities that are ahead to meet the challenges that the university still has remaining in sustainability. So that'll take place with a recognition of Hanes folks and people from athletics and people from Sustainable Carolina and from the university. And that the idea is that there's this great focal project that the Champions Fund funded, which was redoing lighting in many of the iconic athletic venues. So Melanie Elliott, as you all know, very quickly and effectively stood up the Champion Revolving Fund and got within a year the fund in a position to be doing amazing things. And the first project was in Carmichael Arena. I keep calling it Carmichael Auditorium, which makes me old. But Carmichael Arena was the first project. And the exciting thing was that having the Champion Fund provide resources allowed athletics to do all of these lighting projects at once. So Keenan Stadium and the Dean Dome, and really move forward with better game day experience, vastly improved efficiency, and non-trivial increase in our movement towards our sustainability goals. So it's a really great, obviously much more charismatic than maybe we would always have access to kind of project. And athletics has been amazing to work with and been generous with credit. If you've seen the press releases for Carmichael and for Keenan Stadium, they've been really great. So that has been a pleasure to work with them. It is all a result of Melanie's great work to not only have the fund in a functional form, but have it doing amazing. She set the bar high with this first project. So we're excited to celebrate that and to celebrate the partnership between the university and athletics and Hanes Brands on Saturday. So there'll also be a halftime interview that'll include the chancellor live on the radio. So that'll be very exciting. And there will be throughout the stadium, the video boards will have little ribbons celebrating the game. And we'll be able to get a handful of the commemorative t-shirts, which are awesome. And I'll be sure that all of y'all who want one will be able to get one because we expect they're going to be in high demand. So very exciting. It's been a sprint for certain. We're doing things maybe that we don't always do, like working with the television folks, but it's been really exciting. And I think it's a remarkable opportunity to bring attention from a broader group to the issues around sustainability and to celebrate some great successes, but also to be clear about the challenges that we want to take on going forward. So I would be happy to answer any questions about that. Julie. I think you might be muted, Julie. Yeah.
I am muted. Thanks for doing this, Melanie. That sounds very exciting. On a similar note, before COVID, I had heard on the news about trends in some of the athletic stadiums to switch from plastic cups to aluminum cups. Do you know, I don't ever watch athletic games, so I'm kind of oblivious to what goes on. But do you know if UNC is making any progress to kind of work on the plastic issue as well?
There definitely has been some progress. There's been the Office of Waste Reduction and Recycling, who's so active in that area, has been going through a period of transition, and they're about to hire a new leader. And so I think that'll be a great time to refocus. There have been at times metal cups available. There have been specific emphases on certain kinds of recycling. There are a handful of the reverse vending machines that take the plastic bottles and generate the really, really clean recycled plastic. So there are pockets of efforts, but there's certainly much more to be done. And our hope is that this game will happen again next year and we'll have a much longer runway and we can be more engaged in meaningful things around the game day experience. Just with the time that we had this year, we didn't quite get there. So the first answer is there are things going on. The sort of follow up on that is there's tons more to do. And then the final bit is that we hope it'll be a part of that game next year.
Thanks.
Any other questions? All right, I'm keeping an eye on the attendees. I don't see that the chancellor has arrived yet, but I think he will be here shortly. All
He's coming in now, Mike.
right, awesome. Welcome, Kevin. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, sorry, there was not a Zoom link on my calendar, but we figured it out. And I just left the meeting with the mayor, so I apologize for the delay. It's good to see everyone.
Great to see you. Thank you very much for joining us. So what we did is jumped ahead and did the meeting minutes and just talked about the sustainability football game that you already know about, because I really wanted the introductions to take place while you were here. So you can appreciate and know who's with us on the council and know about the group that is supporting our sustainability work. So I'm just going to quickly go through everybody's boxes in my order, and everyone please give a brief introduction, and then we will turn it over to Kevin for his remarks. Steve Wall.
Hello, Steve Wall with Institute for the Environment.
Julie Jacobson Van.
Hi, I'm Julie Jacobson Van. I'm faculty in the School of Nursing. Welcome.
Hello.
Anthony Buckley.
My name's Anthony. I'm a junior undergraduate student.
Abigail Brewer.
Abigail Brewer, Communications and Engagement at Sustainable Carolina.
Ileana Fenwick.
Hi, I'm Ileana Fenwick. I'm the graduate student representative for the council.
Melanie Elliott.
Hi, I'm Melanie. I'm the sustainability analyst for Sustainable Carolina.
Josh Sangani.
Hello, everyone. I'm Josh Sangani. I am the co-chair for the Renewable Energy Special Projects Committee.
Margot Francini.
Hi, I'm Margot Franchini, and I'm with the Environmental Affairs Department of Undergraduate Student Government.
Cindy Shea.
Cindy Shea, Sustainability Director, Sustainable Carolina.
Langley Smith.
Hi, I'm Langley. I work for Sustainable Carolina as a program manager.
Aaron Salzberg.
I'm Aaron. I'm the director of the Water Institute.
Elizabeth Havis.
I am Elizabeth Havis. I'm the faculty in Geography and Environment.
Aaron Riggs.
I am Erin. I'm the director of the Environmental Finance Center at the School of Government.
Jeff Middlestadt.
I am Jeff Middlestead. I'm the professor of the practice in strategy and entrepreneurship at Keenan Flagler and the executive director of the Ackerman Center for Excellence in Sustainability. And I apologize. I'm on a school tour to see where my kid's going to go to kindergarten.
And Emily Williams.
Hey, I'm Emily Williams. I'm the director of communications for the Institute for the Environment.
And I'll just finish up and say it's a remarkable group who give up their time on the council, and they're a wonderful asset. And I appreciate, Kevin, you're having the vision to put it together. And I'm eternally grateful to all the members who, almost all of whom have stuck with us from the very beginning. And from there, I'll just turn it over to you, Kevin. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you. It's great to see all of you. And while I know most of you and have interacted with you, there are a few that I look forward to getting to know better. And so thanks for your commitment to this. And Mike, I'm going to take the opportunity to thank you for your leadership of this important work. 3 years ago, I charged this council with driving forward Carolina's efforts to reduce its environmental footprint. And I asked you to find holistic responses to the challenge and to innovate and prepare together for an unknown future. And today I want to, again, just thank you. We're grateful. I know I speak for our campus community. We're grateful for all of your work. As I said, I just literally left a meeting with the mayor and the Mayor Heminger and the town manager, Chris Blue. And I know that I speak for them as well as one of the largest certainly groups in Orange County and in Chapel Hill, the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. We take a lot of that footprint is us, and I know that they are equally energized by the work that's being done. And so again, thank you for all that you've done. I'm grateful for the time and the enthusiasm that you've given to this, and your dedication to this group is really very much appreciated. You've made critical progress on Sustainable Carolina, as I've had the opportunity to meet with Mike and others to talk about the progress, making it a hub and a a leader of sustainability, certainly on our campus, but I would say in the community here. You've made some incredible accomplishments with the new climate action plan and the water plan, along with comprehensive annual sustainability reports, creation of the Champion Sustainability Fund, and a reimagined communication and engagement strategy. And I'll just say that I think the communication part is critically important. And we just finished in this last meeting I was in talking about the importance of communication on so much of what we do here at Carolina, communicating it not just across to our campus community, but to our local Chapel Hill and Carborough community members. And so we've got to be sure that as we communicate, we're including all of those communities as part of this. As a university, we've made significant advances around our waste, water, and greenhouse gas emissions while providing resilient utility services for both our campus and hospital operations. We have to remember that the footprint that we have here is, I tell people, we're about a $3.84 billion a year enterprise, just UNC Chapel Hill. Have another $3.8 billion a year enterprise in UNC Health that's essentially, it's right here on our campus. So, this work is a journey, as I like to say, and I know that there's still a lot more to do beyond what you've already been able to accomplish, what we've been able to accomplish together. But again, thanks to your work, we have plans with clear metrics, and we're reporting progress to those communities. I'm looking forward to the champion sustainability game that Mike is heading up, and I think going to say a little more about. Maybe I missed that on the front end, but I do want to learn more about this. I want to thank again you, Mike, for serving as chair of the council and for your work as Carolina's chief sustainability officer, and just again thanks to each of you for your dedication to this. And just happy to open it up to any questions you might have, but I'm just curious, and I want to continue to learn more about your goals, where you think that there's some more opportunities out there. I often talk about with every challenge, there are multiple opportunities on the other side of each challenge, and how do we go out and grasp those those opportunities so that we can move the university forward. So. Again, I'm happy, Mike, to open it up now and get your thoughts. And I know you have an agenda, but I want to be sure that you have a chance to ask me any questions you all might have.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kevin. Do folks have questions? Julie.
Yes, hi, and thanks so much for your support of our council. I have a question for you. I'm very active with the Carolina Advocates for Climate, Health, and Equity, and one of our main goals is to work with the health system on sustainability efforts. And a major kind of goal that we have internally is to try to get the health system to hire a chief sustainability officer by December of 2024. And so we just had a meeting last week with a group of people from the health system. We're starting to sustain or engage them in sustainability conversations. I'm wondering if you may be able to help with this goal of working with the health system on hiring a sustainability officer.
Absolutely, and so I need to learn more about it. I mean, what maybe Julie, you can tell me a little more about the level of engagement that's existed to this point in terms of the request for this with UNC Health, and who the point of contacts have been, so that I can, I am on that board, the UNC Health board, and I have regular communication with Wesley Burks and others there. But tell me what's been done to this point.
Well, Kathleen Shapley Quinn is the executive director of Carolina Advocates for Climate, Health, and Equity. So she's kind of leading this. And we just probably in the last 2 months have gotten started with meeting with a group of people from the health system. And so far this past week, it was the director of environmental sciences who came and met with us, Brad Julian. So he was there, and a number of physicians. So we really haven't had any conversations with upper level management at this point, or leadership, and that's something that we would like to happen. We've had some emails go to Dan Lehman, but really haven't had any meetings. So we're kind of in the beginning stages, and are making progress at sort of lower levels with, for instance, anesthesiology, family medicine, medical students and so forth, but not really at the upper level.
Okay. And so I'm taking notes here, and I'm going to be sure to follow up with them. And the goal is, Julie, to have this individual in place by the end of this calendar year?
2024.
Oh,
December 2024.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a slow progress, but we've had some challenges of sort of getting a foothold into the health system. One of the things that we talked about this past week is, of course, UNC is a magnet hospital. And one thing we thought we could do from the ground up is maybe work with nursing units one at a time on having them take on a sustainability project at the unit level for their magnet project. So that's one thing we're talking about. I teach a health policy course that all my graduate nursing students have to write a greening of health care plan, which I'm trying to get them to adopt. You know, and these are kind of lower level types of things, but I think it's really going to take some leadership at the top that makes it a priority in the health system. And at this point, I know Dan Lehman has an interest in it through what we're hearing from Brad Julian, but we're not sure at the top level whether or not there is that buy-in yet. So, so we're kind of building from the ground up.
And Brad
just getting started.
And Brad has been your point of contact, it sounds like.
Brad is just somebody that came and presented to us this week. So I think he's been the most receptive person. He was just talking about all the things that they've done in environmental health so far. He said that they generate 8 tons of waste per day, and they're working on recycling and trying to convert Class A medical waste to the regular waste stream. And they're working on some composting initiatives. So that's at one departmental level, but we really haven't had any conversations higher up.
Okay. This is very helpful. And I will, we just had our board meeting, it's probably been about eight or 9 days ago, but I will certainly bring this up with Wesley Burks and some others and see what we might, how we can help get this done.
Wonderful. And we're happy to pull together information on a business case for sustainability. There's, in fact, even one source that may have said that for each OR that is sustainable, they may save between $20,000 and $50,000 per year, and that's per OR room. So entities like Gunderson Lutheran in La Crosse, Wisconsin, they have saved millions of dollars through sustainability efforts. So I know that UNC Healthcare has had some financial struggles through COVID and whatever, and I think making a business case may really help.
Thank you, Julie. That's a great topic. Do we have other questions for the chancellor? And just jump in if you want. I'm looking for hands. And Elizabeth, please.
Hey, Kevin.
Hello.
Elizabeth Havis from Geography and Environment. Just as an update for you, I've been working along with Cindy Shea and several others for more than a decade with Carolina Dining Services on food sustainability. And I mention it because the program that Carolina Dining Services has used for quite some time is called Real Food Challenge, and it was a chancellor's initiative. Carol Foltz signed an agreement as a commitment for Carolina Dining Services to use this third-party certification system called Real Food Challenge. And we have been working with that. CDS has been incredible, along with Aramark, in making progress on sustainability in food. And last spring, actually, the Real Food Challenge as an organization imploded. It doesn't exist anymore. And so that's kind of left the dining services in a question of, okay, do we continue, because we have this commitment, this chancellor's commitment, do we continue to audit according to their standards? They're looking around for new standards and are planning to launch one called the Cool Food Program. Cindy might be able to talk a little bit more about overlap with some of the other sustainability metrics programs that are in play. But I thought it'd be useful just to have that on your radar, that something might be coming back across your desk because this was a chancellor's initiative. But I think the really good news is that CDS and Aramark have such a strong working relationship around sustainability. I think they're in great position to continue to be leaders around the topic of food sustainability and to continue to work with the campus community and food producers across North Carolina on this issue. They're really primed to do it, but it was definitely a big surprise for the certification system to no longer exist.
Yeah, well, that's, and again, when did we learn that the certification system was no longer?
Yeah, it was last spring, right around the time that the students always do an audit and work with CDS on auditing purchases. And in this spring, they had a bunch of people who worked with RFC resign, basically about disagreements about what sustainability means, about who it should be working for. So, basically we started writing emails to them and just not hearing back. So we've confirmed now that the organization is basically defunct. And there are, fortunately, actually with funding from Office of Undergraduate Research, we had done a bunch of research on alternative certification approaches and standards. So we had some baseline to look for other options. And then Cindy, you might want to weigh in here. Working through the HE STAR program has also been able to advise on options as well. So I don't think that there's going to be a dip in sustainability progress. It's just a question of, is there a new formal commitment? How do we work with the chancellor's office on advancing that? And what kind of communication do we need to build out the next steps and sort of goal setting? CDS also has a great new sustainability focused person in place, Victoria Hill, and she's terrific and will be leading the charge on that. Cindy, what else can you add in?
Thanks, Elizabeth. So yeah, HE STARS is going through an update as we speak, going to version 3.0, and their food credits are likely to reference the Anchors in Action Alliance as the food standard that they will reference in STARS 3.0. I just put the link in the chat. And above and beyond that, Aramark has pledged to work with the campuses that it serves on a cool food program, linking food with climate, and they're going to launch that at UNC Chapel Hill this spring. So that's something to be looking for as well. So the emphasis has typically been on food as related to climate, as well as local purchasing, fair trade, and organics, third-party certifications of a variety of sorts, like marine stewardship, etc. But the one that HE is currently leaning towards for its assessment program, which is the most widely used and comprehensive, is the Anchors in Action. And yes, CDS has been fabulous in leading this charge.
Great, thank you. So to answer your question, I just need to learn a little bit more about this so that I can ask the right questions to the right folks. It would help me if perhaps maybe Elizabeth and Cindy, you could work with Mike on putting together a one-pager for me, just summarizing this, and then we'll determine the best people. Mike and I will take where to take this to, and probably going to want to engage Gordon Merkline, who dining services reports up through his unit, and I'm going to be able to ask him some questions about this, and because I want to remain committed to this, and I was not aware that the certification had sort of gone away. So thank you for your attention to this, and if you just get us that one page, we'll get moving on it.
We'll do that. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thanks, Elizabeth and Cindy. Do we have others with questions? If I'm missing you, please just speak up, because I'm looking and not seeing. All right, looks like it's it, unless I'm missing somebody. So just really quickly, Kevin, we did talk about the football game, and I know I've worked with your office quite a bit on it, but we're excited. We'll be in Tar Heel Town before at 12:30 on Saturday with several different sustainability organizations, including some folks on the Zoom today, which is exciting. talking to people about the things that we're doing, the progress we've made, the challenges that remain. There are going to be some awesome green and Keenan buttons that everybody should get. They turned out beautifully. Thank you, Abigail. And we're throughout the day there'll be videos running through the game. There'll be t-shirts in the student section, in the Carolina Fever section, commemorating the day with great artwork, celebrating the partnership with Hanes Brands and particularly with Champion. And we'll have an exciting on-field recognition. Halftime, we'll be doing an interview that you'll be a part of, which is wonderful. We appreciate your time. And just spending the day raising awareness with a broader audience than we generally have access to, which is really exciting.
Yep. No, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a great day, and hopefully we can continue to work on a sustainable Carolina as well as a sustainable undefeated football record. So we got to try to sustain that as well.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure your presence there will help us accomplish both.
I feel certain. That's right. This group, there's a lot of pressure on us. We have to be there.
That's right. No pressure.
Exactly. All right, great. Well, Kevin, I know you have a busy schedule, but please stay as long as you can. And we really appreciate your time and your commitment to this group and to sustainability at the university.
Thank you for your commitment to this. And I look forward to continue to be by your side and work on these issues. And we will definitely follow up on the UNC Health issue, as well as the Carolina Dining Services and that certification. And we'll look forward to seeing you at the game. I am going to stay on for a while here, if that's okay, and I'll continue to listen and take some notes.
Absolutely. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. So we are having the most efficient meeting ever. We are 10 minutes ahead, which is fantastic. That'll give us plenty of time to talk at the end if we have topics we want to talk about. But next up, I'm excited that Ileana Fenwick is going to provide us a presentation about the early vision around a campus resilience committee. So this is thinking about environmental resilience, so today's conditions, future conditions with climate change, and trying to put a group together to begin to really constrain what are the risks that our university distinctly faces, and what are the likely receptors of the things that may be happening, whether it be excessive rainfall, higher temperatures, any of those challenges. And then trying to think about who within the university community would be good to connect with to build out, a stakeholder group of likely people who will be concerned about potential impacts, likely folks who are in leadership areas that govern areas that are likely to change in terms of weather risks and climate risks. I talked a little bit with George Battle, who is the head of our institutional integrity and risk management group, and he's really excited to have this work going on in parallel to all the work that they do around risk assessments that to date have not included things about weather and climate and natural system kinds of risks. So if you haven't met Ileana, she's fantastic. She's a graduate student in the Department of Earth, Marine, and Environmental Sciences with Dr. Janet Nye, who is stationed at the Institute of Marine Sciences. And Ileana, please tell us what you've been thinking about.
Okay, thank you, Mike. And it looks like I need permission to share my screen. If we're able to enable that, I can go ahead and share.
We'll get you just a moment.
Great, thank you. Perfect, thank you.
Yep.
And is everyone able to see? Okay, perfect. Excellent, thank you. Well, thank you for that introduction, Mike. I'm really excited to share some of our thoughts about the Campus Resilience Committee. Again, I'm a student in the Earth, Marine, and Environmental Science Department. Resilience, climate change, something we think very often about. I'm excited to bring that lens to our campus community and thinking about the current and future of our campus. And so some of the goals of the Campus Resilience Committee will be first and foremost to really identify the risks that the campus may face due to environmental change. And in that kind of assessment of those risks, we're really interested in presenting, collaborating, and supporting potential strategies for mitigation of those risks, really thinking about both current and future projections of how the campus community may be impacted and how we can start to set goals and support initiatives that will lead to a more resilient Carolina community. community. And with that, we're really interested in combining campus leadership across different disciplines and across different levels. I think the Sustainability Council is a great testament to bringing together a lot of different disciplines and levels of leadership to really contribute to a more sustainable university. And we'd certainly like to bring that kind of framework to the committee as well. And so with that, thinking about a path to a more climate resilient UNC community, the first question we'll really be asking is what environmental stressors present a risk to our campus? And so in the context of climate change, there are a number of stressors that may eventually, and still remaining optimistic, but may eventually impact the UNC community. And so some of those things could include temperature increases, the occurrence of extreme weather events such as flooding, droughts, wildfires, and also thinking about issues such as water and air quality for the campus community. And so what we're seeing here on this slide, I just wanted to show the sustainability map that already exists for the university, an incredible resource. And we'll, as a group in the committee, also be thinking about how to support ongoing initiatives and opportunities to identify where the university may be weaker and where we can strengthen that with potential actions. And so here I've listed just a few potential actions. These are still very broad, but thinking about how we as a committee can work together and provide suggestions that may be able to enhance the campus's resilience. That could include infrastructure improvements or suggestions for those. And then also thinking about and suggesting disaster preparedness planning for both the university as a whole, but then also for the individuals that make up our Carolina community. We'll also be looking to collaborate and explore these strategies that will improve the campus's capacity for facilities, for operations to withstand changing climate conditions. And so some of those potential environmental stressors may impact the university operations and conditions, and how can we start to anticipate what some of those challenges may be to address them before they take place. The second question that we're really hoping to ask is also who and what on campus are at risk. And so this can include students and staff, our individual health, and the actual members that comprise our Carolina community. But we're also thinking about processes such as supply chains, maintenance, facility work, and how those things may also be impacted or vulnerable processes as our environment is changing. So really hoping to tackle a bit of that question and set some high-level goals of how we can contribute to a more climate resilient UNC. So some of the potential actions there will be to develop and maintain or encourage and support the development and maintaining of emergency response plans. So thinking about the safety and well-being of students, staff, operations during climate-related events. We can also think about and support ongoing initiatives to raise awareness and educate the campus community about climate change and its impacts and individual actions that the community can take. So what I have just a photo of here, some of the ongoing campus initiatives, thinking about composting, thinking about recycling, encouraging students to be active participants in efforts that the university is taking. I think it's important to note as well that the committee's goal is not to start from scratch, but really to support and provide suggestion and collaborate with the ongoing initiatives that are already in place, especially Sustainable Carolina, the ongoing work, and incredible progress that's been made toward a more sustainable Carolina community. And then our last question that Mike certainly touched on as well is thinking about who are our partners in this initiative to really build a more climate resilient UNC, who are the stakeholders, who's going to join in this effort with us and receive the information that it generates, how can we benefit both the UNC community, but our broader community as well. And so some of the potential actions under this kind of umbrella will be to think about partnerships with our local government, with collaborators, those who are already very much invested in the UNC community and how we can, share and enhance the impact of our sustainable efforts while also sharing best practices as well. UNC has made strides that we're happy to share and hopefully expand on with others as well. So again, thinking also about climate resilient policies, supporting student efforts to push forward those initiatives, thinking about and engaging with stakeholders to support those sustainable initiatives, and then also supporting the ongoing work of the campus community to have vendors and suppliers that promote sustainable practices on campus, really reducing our environmental impact where we can as an opportunity to, remain away from these kind of climate impacts. that may be coming. And so I did want to just, briefly touch on, in addition to all of the different groups that are members of the Sustainability Council, we also have representation, especially from student groups and communities that are very much invested in not only their current conditions here at Carolina, but the future of the campus as well. And so we had the Student Environmental Action Coalition, the Renewable Energy Special Projects Committee. So some really incredible efforts from all levels of leadership on campus and how we can collaborate and also extend that beyond our campus community. And so, as I mentioned, we're really interested in supporting ongoing efforts and how we can collaborate and support those efforts as well. So a central kind of goal and mission of the committee will be to continue to support Sustainable Carolina as we exist kind of under that umbrella. And so I just wanted to touch on some of the initiatives that already meet some of the goals that the committee will hopefully set for ourselves, so to support these programs. So thinking about increasing the adoption of these renewable energy sources across our campus, how we can encourage the use of sustainable transportation options, for example, one example being the commuter alternative program and the electric bus that was put on campus just last year. Also thinking about and establishing waste reduction goals and educating the campus community about proper waste sorting and disposal to minimize waste. All of these are initiatives that have had incredible success already, and we're excited to continue to support them and see how the committee can complement that work. And we also briefly kind of chatted about the Carmichael Arena updates. That is an initiative from the Green Technology Revolving Fund, and how we can continue to support and think about ways that the community can remain resilient as our environment is changing. And so with that, I will hand it over to Mike if you have anything to add. I wanted to extend an invitation to join us. We're looking for committee or council members who may be interested in joining this committee. We're hoping to have our first meeting later on this fall with the hopes of starting this conversation about how a more resilient Carolina community can come about and what type of short and long-term goals we can set to get there. And so with that, I'll leave us on this slide here. And if Mike, if you have anything to add.
I do not. That was awesome. Thank you, Ileana. Do folks have questions for Ileana? Again, I'm sorry, my little. Okay, Margo. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, this sounds awesome. I guess I was wondering, like, what kind of council members you're looking for? Just people like here on the call, or professional staff, or
I think right now the call remains pretty open. I'd love to see, like I said, different levels of leadership, different disciplines that certainly benefited us here. I'll say one of the favorite kind of activities that I participated in last year as a council member was being a judge for the Student Research Awards under sustainability. And I think that the ongoing research that campus students are doing around sustainability, around like urban architecture and sustainability, thinking about resilience, thinking about urban ecology, all of that certainly has a place also, I think, in this group. But all of that to say, I think, the call remains open. And certainly if you have folks who you have in mind, we'd love to see them join the team.
Yes, and of course, anyone here, please join us if you'd like to.
Leanne, I just have a quick question. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Steve.
Oh, sorry, Elizabeth. Just real quick, Ileana, great presentation. And you mentioned during one of your slides about raising awareness about climate change. I just want to make sure that I'm sure most of the council knows, but the UNC Research Week coming up in October is going to have a focus on climate of change, and there will be several presentations about climate change. Mike is on one, Aaron Riggs is on one about financing environmental responses to climate change, that type of thing. So just please attend and be on the lookout for more information about those events.
Thank you, Steve. Absolutely.
Ileana and Mike, thanks so much for the presentation. Sorry, there's leaf blowers outside. I know there's been some student projects on the environmental impact of those. I was wondering if the two of you could just talk a little bit about how much this kind of dovetails directly with existing projects versus as a way to support versus, leading kind of new directions or bringing out new dimensions. If you could talk about the relationship among these initiatives.
I'm happy to, unless you'd like to, Ileana.
Go ahead, Mike.
I would just say, I think Ileana said it a couple of times, is that we know full well we're not starting from zero. And so that first piece, though the environmental scan was identified as looking at directly at stressors, that also will have a big part in looking at existing efforts. And certainly as we move forward, if we see things that are working exceptionally well within this realm, we definitely will want to try and foster and find ways to expand and do them better. I think it's just an effort to understand where our efforts are in this space, and try and look for things that are working really well, look for low-hanging fruit, if you will, and also look for just glaring needs, areas that we really need to focus more energy and attention on.
I also think it will be a nice opportunity to take what's already been done and make sure that all of us are kind of aware of the work others are doing. I think that this will be a nice place, like Mike mentioned, like, we're going to be asking these questions and really hoping to centralize some of this information. So, if folks don't know what others are doing, we can make that more common knowledge and really push forward some of these really cool initiatives that have been successful, and perhaps expand on, or at least support them in any way that we can. Absolutely.
I was just going to jump in. This is Erin. Sorry, my voice is still coming back from being sick, but I would love to contribute to some of the ideas and things. I think particularly we advise a lot on local government resilience planning, and look at what's already been done and examples of systems that have faced really great challenges, and what they've learned from it, and what works, which I think you've built into this with looking at local partnerships. But also we just, through our work, I think we just uncover all these really cool opportunities that no one knows about. And one has come up through a brewery project that we're doing for sustainable breweries. And there's really awesome recycling and bundling of brewery waste that's being done, and creating revenue for brewers and things. UNC Wilmington is participating in that. And I would love to, just share some of the stuff that we do, because I do feel, I know we all suffer from this. Like, we do a lot of really cool stuff, and never comes because we don't have time to share it. So to the extent we can, there can be some beginning part of this process that's about just sort of envisioning what resiliency means, depending on your workspace and where you're focusing on, and then thinking about what sort of sustainability initiatives we're already aware of that might be of interest. UNC, I would love to be part of that if it's needed.
Absolutely. Thank you, Erin.
Thanks. Anthony.
Hey, so I work with a urban planning club on campus right now, and one thing we've been doing with the upcoming town council election has been hosting a couple different forums, and I've gotten to speak with many of the town council candidates, and one thing that they all agree on is sustainability collaboration with the university is a priority for all of them. And regardless of who gets elected, I think I would love to kind of bring those connections forward and just introduce them to the projects and the opportunities and the ideas that you guys have. I think would be a great chance for the town of Chapel Hill and the university to collaborate a little more closely on sustainability initiatives.
That'd be great, Anthony. And that's another case where we can do sort of the pre-scan of what are we doing now, which is non-trivial, but never enough. So that's a great idea. And as transitions in government happen, especially at the local level, it's critical to get everyone on the same page again, so we don't start with zero shared understanding. So that's a great idea. Thank you. Ooh, sorry, something funny happened to my screen. Anybody else with questions or comments? And obviously reach out to Ileana and me if you'd like to participate. If you know of other folks who would really want to be involved in this, let us know. And we're going to target later on this semester for our first meeting. I'm just scanning through. Anyone else? All right. Great. So thank you again, Ileana. That was great. I think this is going to be a really exciting action-oriented piece, which is always fun. And with, chance for big picture and also much smaller individual kind of action level stuff. So that is excellent. All right. So we are right on schedule. And our last section is we have set aside time for any council discussion. If there are things that council members have going on in your realms that you'd like to bring to the group, questions that folks have for the group, the council itself, or for Sustainable Carolina, please have at it. Announcements you'd like to make, anything like that. Julie.
Hi, I just have one kind of like update that I think is really important. This past summer, School of Nursing held a global health planning retreat, and our new Associate Dean for Global Affairs, Dr. Ashley Leak, has stated that sustainability is a pillar of global health. So the School of Nursing is going to now have a global health initiative, and we've got our first meeting this week. So I'm very excited that I think that's great progress for the school.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Anyone else?
Maybe if I can just quickly jump in, Mike. Thanks for the opportunity. Those of you might know the Research Triangle Environmental Health Collaborative hosts an annual summit, usually focused on some sort of environmental health challenge to the state. And this year's summit is going to be on transitioning to a net zero energy future in North Carolina. It's really going to look at equity, environmental, and economic issues within the state associated with moving towards a net zero state. And that's likely to happen. The final date has not yet been chosen, but it's likely to happen, I think, in early February. And so for those who might be interested in either part of the planning committee or interested in speaking or know somebody that should be involved in talking about these net zero options, what that means for equity issues within the state, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I'm happy to connect you up with the organizers. I'm part of that planning committee, so I think folks would be very happy to include you. And I know we've done a lot on campus, of course, that can contribute to this conversation.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. Margot.
So I guess on behalf of the Environmental Affairs branch of the student government, we just have a bunch of things coming up, various projects, kind of all over the place, but always under the umbrella of sustainability. Just different events, like we're looking at a case competition, the fashion show that we did last year for sustainable fashion. And we're also looking at collaborating with Edible Campus and also the energy transition town hall later in the fall. And I guess I also just wanted to update, because Elizabeth, you were talking about CDS, and we're also looking to collaborate with them on sustainability efforts. So if you ever, I'd love to reach out, but like if you ever need help with student engagement or anything, on sustainability with CDS. But Anthony, you might have something to add. If not, that's fine. That's what's going on in our sphere.
Yeah, our case energy competition right now is likely going to be an RTP wide event. So we have NC State on board for sure, thinking about Duke. But right now we're looking at partnering with Strata, and the premise of the event will be Strata comes up with a prompt, and we're encouraging interdisciplinary collaboration amongst all student groups on NC State's campus and our campus to come together to provide a solution for the prompt. And we haven't quite hammered out the rest of the details in terms of rewards or anything like that, but we're thinking of having a panel of judges with a lot of representatives from Strata and potentially some professors and faculty members from State and UNC come together to judge. And it's in our mind, it's supposed to be a good way to get students involved in sustainability initiatives, not only here at UNC, but also at NC State, and come up with some innovative ideas to help, a local energy company and just get more people involved.
Sounds great. Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah, just a quick follow-up from Margot and Anthony. It'd be great. Feel free to email back to me or to Cindy. And the key person really that's managing student engagement for around CDS is Amy Cook, Dr. Amy Cook, who's an E3P. And right this semester, she's running a capstone course. So it turned out to be really nice timing for the Real Food Challenge, for kind of coping with this problem with the Real Food Challenge. So she has a student group right now that's doing CDS related work for the whole semester. So that would be a great place to connect in. And this is really timely because we're going to be figuring out how we manage student engagement with CDS since our former model, it no longer exists. So feel free to write to Amy Cook and to me at the same time, and we can go from there.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Any others? I'll quickly follow up on Margot's mentioning the Energy Transition Town Hall. We did that last spring, and I think it was a really successful event. We're targeting November and trying to hone in on a date. It's complicated with a bunch of different organizations involved, but as soon as we can, we're going to be putting that together. And it was just a great opportunity to come together as a bunch of disparate groups and talk about where the university is in terms of fueling the things that the chancellor talked about, the billions of dollar enterprises on the university side and the hospital side, and where the progress we've made and our aspirations around transitioning the way that we fuel ourselves and trying to do it in the most modern way possible. So I think it was a good, frank conversation where lots of people with different priorities and perspectives just talked about a shared set of facts, which was, for me, a really, really productive conversation. So I'm personally excited. I know we've got lots of folks on the call today who are going to be a part of it. I think it's going to be great. So more on that soon, and we'll send out, as soon as the date is picked, we'll send out a notice to the council, because it was definitely a remarkable event. Any other people with things they'd like to talk about?
I see Jeff has his hand up.
Perfect. Thank you. I was scrolling and trying to go slowly because my computer keeps being weird. Jeff.
First of all, thank you, everyone. My camera might not have been on because I wasn't allowed to have it on where I was, but I was listening the entire time. This is fantastic. And I will definitely reach out to multiple people later on. I want to put on people's agenda that we have the MBA students at UNC, Duke, and NC State put on a food conference every year. And this year it's going to be in Chapel Hill on our campus I think it's April 6th. And I can send dates and things like that out as well. And that's business and investment based around food and sustainability. And then for those, I would be remiss not to mention that for those for students in any program at any undergraduate or graduate level, we do have our annual LIFT competition, Launching Investment for Future Transformation, which is, it's actually more about getting education experience around blended finance based impact investing. So you can choose any of the sustainable development goals and choose a topic and an impact that's of interest to you and create a blended finance proposal, impact investing proposal around it. And it's open to all undergraduate and graduate students around the world. And once we get 3-paragraph concept notes that judges will never see, I always have to say that, we try to set up coaches for the students who are involved around the world that would best help them learn through these coaching sessions what blended finance means in their space and how to apply it and how to set up blended finance based impact investing funds. And then the proposals are due January 31st this year. There's a first round where we have over 30 judges around the world, that at least 5 judges per proposal provide feedback on it. And then the top 8 go to the live pitch quarterfinals, and it's set up like a tournament where it's head to head, same panel of judges, and they decide who moves on to the next round. And I always forget this part, but students seem to like it. The first place gets $10,000, second place gets $5,000. And we do have our first winners 2 years ago were master's students from Switzerland, and their work is happening in Rwanda and Bangladesh. And then last year were undergraduate students from UNC Chapel Hill. And so, and I think the second place team, which was cool, also had UNC Chapel Hill and University of Florida on the same team. And so we really like to see that we had 5 or 6 teams with multiple universities represented on their teams last year, which is always cool. So just wanted to throw that out there as an option for anybody who wants to take part. And if you're not a student and you want to learn more about it and take part in it, let me know as well. So we always have coaching options and things like that too.
Thank you, Jeff. That sounds
problem.
awesome.
Thank you.
Abigail?
I just wanted to let everyone know that our annual sustainability report will be out mid-October. That includes Melanie's greenhouse gas emissions inventory, and then also operations, curricula, research, community engagement. So there's a lot of different sections on sustainability in there. So be on the lookout for that. I'm sure we'll send a link when it's ready.
Definitely. Thank you. That's a great reminder. All right. Anybody else? All right, so unless I'm missing someone, I'm not seeing anyone else. But thank you all. That was an amazingly productive hour, super efficient and effective meeting. And we're going to get free 2 minutes to enjoy a slightly longer lunch. Please follow up if you have any questions about anything that we talked about today. Follow up if you want to participate in any of the activities we described. And we'll continue to provide information about the things that are going on and look forward to meeting everybody later on in the fall semester. All right, enjoy the beautiful day.
Thanks, you too.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.